right, it says that I went live, and it also says starting soon. So I guess I'm going to be starting soon. All right, here we go. Remy Amish comic trying to make Tuesdays suck less. Wait, there. Remy Amish comic trying to make Tuesdays suck less. Their lovely Mrs. Comic is in the house and she'll be hanging in the chat and trying to steer me back onto the railroad tracks. We are expecting also a goat report from Crenshaw in Maui sometime this evening. So the show could be interrupted at any moment for that. Um, I, I never know what I'm going to do with these things, and I'm trying to keep things fun, but I was really pissed off because construction, not at our house, but right next to our house, the roads was getting ripped up this morning, and they started to pummers banging all this shit away. 7 o'clock in the morning. I slept through it because I had the proper crunk last night. But these knuckleheads seemed like they were just practicing digging in the street. There were no street signs up. Nobody moving in our car. No saying move your cars, all this and that. So Mrs. Comic said we better move the car because they seem nuts. So I moved the car. That was a good move because I think they had those little tractors. I think I've never drove one, but I think the handle makes the digger thing go up and down slow. And they just said fuck it, and it would just boom, and that fucker would go. Scared the shit out of us. I think they're done, but typically they usually put signs up that say you have to move your cars and stuff on account of we're going to be digging up the street. But these fuckers just went. So I don't even know if anybody hired them or if they just went rogue and decided they were just going to go around town and just rip up people's roads. Um, so that was really how I started. And then I started thinking, well, I want to do some fun stuff here tonight. And so um, I find myself being one of those people that say, you kids don't remember the good old days. Tonight's show is going to be heavy on some good old fashioned fun stuff, and you can still do it now. Drive-in movies, we love them. Mrs. Comic loves them. I love them. Our daughter loves them. Her partner Vince loves them. Mahoning Drive-In. I'm gonna be whoring that all night long here. There's a schedule here somewhere. It's up around. Oh, that's right there. Check that shit out. I mean, you can go see Eraserhead at Mahoning Drive-In. Not now, but that's kind of cool shit. Seeing something like that outside is just absolutely incredible. Got to take a radio, which is kind of cool because you take a good radio, you have a very excellent sound. But if you don't, I think they beam it through on some kind of nice, amazing speaker up there, so you can actually hear. There's the schedule right there. Now I put the link for the Mahoning Drive-In in the link, the info for this live stream tonight. So you find in there the link for Mahoning Drive-In. You have to go. You have to go. It's absolutely incredible experience. And um, also, Mrs. Comic, well, our daughter found a vinyl record about music from drive-in movies, and that's amazing. The link for that playlist is on Spotify. That's also in the link for description of the show, and it has all these amazing songs like "Let's Go Down to the Lobby," and there's a song about a pickle, and there's songs about not. Driving off with the speaker. They had them old speakers in there, and then you put them in there, and then it'd be late, and then you drive off, and they'd ruin your fucking cars. They don't really have those too much anymore. And if you have never been to a drive-in, I'm telling you, you have to go. If you can find a movie that you really love, great. But it's really just go. The experience is absolutely incredible. Especially Mahoning Drive-In has a lot of events. Horror author Grady Hendrix goes up there. Twin Peaks casters up there. That people that go for the first time, I guess they're scared to go in the mountains of Pennsylvania. This is really fucking cool. But now, I was prenging around. That's a word I made up from a long time ago. Looking on YouTube for drive-in movie stuff, and the history of drive-in movies is actually quite fascinating. But mostly, the clips that we saw on YouTube were drive-in movies that were owned by really miserable people complaining about shit. I thought, what the fuck? The one guy's complaining that, well, sometimes it rains and then a lot of people come, and yeah, that's specific to a lot of things, not just fucking drive-in movies like golf outings and baseball and all that shit. But then he was complaining about it. He didn't know how many French fries to make. If he made 20 orders of fries and only 10 people bought fries, then he fucks on the French fries. So the one after the next were kind of miserable. I'm here to tell you, in this area, which I've been for a long time, there used to be 6 or 8 drive-ins around. We never actually made it all the way up to Mahoning. I can't even say it, Mahoning Valley. That's around Penn's Peak area. But it's thriving. It's flourishing. They love it. They actually really love going in early to make the fucking French fries. It's just an incredible experience. So get your asses on up there. It's not a paid promotion. I just fucking love drive-ins. It's just such an incredible experience. And then, well, I did a little bit of research. I did. The first drive-in movie came to us in 1933 in New Jersey, of all places, and it was called, they didn't call them drive-ins, they called them park-in theaters. And the first person who made theirs was on account of they either their mother or their spouse couldn't get comfortable in a regular movie theater chair. So why not just make your own fucking movie theater where you can just drive a car in there? So that's where it started, and then they sort of didn't know how to make money with first drive-ins, and so that one got sold. The actual second drive-in known to mankind is Shankweiler's, which is amazing. But I'm here a whoring Mahoning Valley Drive-In tonight. Shankweiler's is fantastic. Um, then New Jersey, since that one kind of flopped in New Jersey, I didn't even know about this. Somebody had tried to do a fly-in theater for small airplanes, and needless to say, uh, that did not really catch on or take off, pun intended. What would possess anyone to try to fly a plane to a drive-in movie? Although I actually know a friend of ours, Stein, who might be watching this show tonight. He lives close enough to the Mahoning Drive-In, and he has a pilot's license. I don't think he has a plane anymore, but if Stein still had his plane, he could fly from where he is now, which would be kind of stupid because it's probably only like a mile away. But he could fly to the drive-in movies. I'm telling you, you have to go. You also have to listen to that playlist. It's the most amazing thing. There's a song about a pickle. There's a song about popcorn and Dr. Pepper and all this cool stuff. Orange Crush. It's just absolutely really amazing. The other thing that caught Mrs. Comic and I's attention was on one of the YouTube clips we saw. They were promoting the drive-in movies as a place where you could bring your obnoxious kids. Like if your kids were loud and rowdy and nasty and nutballs, they're welcome because you're fucking stuck with them. They got to stay in your car. That's not always the case. If you go to drive-in, don't be a dick because people actually, especially at Mahoning Drive-In, it's a lot of fun, but they actually really worship films. And so if people go there, when you go to see like Eraserhead, you'll be there with people who actually want to see Eraserhead. And so if you go, don't be a dick. I mean, it's fun, but it's not really a scream out kind of thing unless the room is playing with Tommy Wiseau, in which case you'll need therapy, and there's no real amount of screaming that could save you there. Um, so that's fun stuff there. The drive-in. I think I got another couple pictures here. Hang on. So on the playlist on Spotify, there was some cool shit. Let's see here. They got all the songs, and they have all their little cartoons play. If you have Spotify like on your phone, and you scroll the thing up, you can see the little cartoons they have. I mean, it's worth going to the drive-in just for these things. And I want to show you something else here before I get too far off the railroad tracks. I was starting to watch the show tonight. Was going to be about um, He was, boy, we went the complete other way because the show started out early today. Mrs. Comic and I got hooked on these shows where horrible, stupid history of wherever of the country, the United States, like abandoned buildings and weird shit. It was going to be about that, and one of the things that came up was Poconos has a lot of abandoned resorts, and they're actually it's an interesting mix of really fucking scary, and you just be riding around the mountains, and there's a couple of decent resorts open now, but like I think casinos killed them and shit. They just fucking abandoned them, and they're like ghost towns. If you see them at night, they scare the fuck out of you. So that was what the theme was also going to be, and I was going to be hemming and hawing about the thing that was featured in the show we were watching was I want to get the name right here, bibbity bobbity boo. Uh, Centralia, Pennsylvania, is still burning underneath, and it's coal. There's coal fire under that town, and it's burning for 50 years now. And they say it's going to burn another 100 years. They couldn't really get people to leave, even though the ground was hot and holes would open up, and a couple people fucking fell in there. It's horrible. And then they paid him to move, and then there was always like 38 assholes who didn't want to move. But in 1984, there were still fucking people there. So the show was going to be that fucking miserable. And I was thinking, wait a minute, we got to flip this thing back to happy. Richter, I thought of you. Oh, hang on, that's our goat report. Hang on. Why, hello, let's see if I can work this thing. Did I get you? I got you. Hello?
Hello?
He's in.
Is this the Amish comic?
Yes, this is the Amish comic. You have phoned in to tonight's Making Tuesday Suck Less. The theme of tonight's show is actually drive-in movies, so that's why I thought it would be good for Crenshaw to phone in from Hawaii with the goat report. So, because
Well, I have a goat report. If you're looking for a goat report, I just want to make sure you're sober or drunk enough for it. I'm not sure where you are on the list.
well, I started my bourbon ball. Cheers to Richter, the Richter scale. There has to be a joke there somewhere, Richter scale. But I'm not liquored up yet, so I only have a little bit of brown fluid. Um, I'm trying to lean. I'm going to lean you closer to where folks might be able to hear you. But yes, we are ready for the goat report. Let's hear Crenshaw. Let us
All
have
right.
it.
So as of last week, the battle between Teddy and Theodore, Teddy Theodore, the big 250-pound goat, and the thinner, like skeletal goat, Hoku, the one that likes to get high and get baked. The battle has finally seceded because I ended up cleaning out this old barn and making room for the crazy stoner goat, and she decided to make friends with the chicken in the yard. So now the chicken and the goat have become friends, and they run around the yard together. But the other goat, Teddy, the stubbornest one that I want to eat, because he looks like he's ready to be eaten, but I don't eat goat. But that's another story. That little bastard, we finally got him in a corner and was able, with pallets and other things, to get him cordoned off. So we've got him in their corner so I can breathe easy for a minute.
Well, I see that's actually really good news, but I see you did not take my advice because you were supposed to get the other goat as high as the other goat. That's where we left it.
I couldn't get to, every time I go out with my, with whatever smoking device to prepare myself for goat getting high, he would flap his ears and run away. And I couldn't, not like the other goat. Like, you sparked up and that goat is in your lap, dude.
Well, I would imagine I don't even understand how hard it would be to get a goat to take a hit off a bong. Although it seems like the kind of shit I would have tried somewhere in my life, but
Right?
yeah, who would believe that I would be the one streaming live, and then Crenshaw would be the one giving farming goat reports? So
It gets weirder than that because I must have done such a good job as the goat tender my name is spread now, and I've been asked to watch a cat with one eye named Blade.
Yeah, I don't a one-eyed cat named Blake. So I could see how you would think you would be good with that if you took care of goats. Now, I have to caution you that if you're going to be taking care of a one-eyed cat and it's going to be near the goats, then you're going to have a whole nother problem.
No. This is a whole different. This is 2,500 feet up the mountain, the volcano here on Maui.
Well, see, now that's why I'm.
Blade lives up in the clouds, and he's a tough guy, man.
Well, you just reminded me. I'm a little pissed off at you because there's a lot of earthquakes in Hawaii, and Mrs. Comic and I thought you were dead from earthquakes. So I texted you and said, "I hope you're okay from the earthquakes." And so you not texting me back was your way of telling me that you were okay. So that's not that popular of a system. But I would suggest next time when your friend says, "Are you okay from earthquakes that are happening in fucking Hawaii?" you just send a thumb back, right? You don't even have to do a whole message. Just get the goat to say a thing in the phone, or hit the thumb emoji.
You got it.
But
you got it.
but we're happy you're doing.
I haven't even remember that the closest island to me is not very far, and our island hasn't really been shaken much. It's mostly the big island of Hawaii that's now covered in lava and shaken a whole bunch.
Well, that's what good friends do. What they do is they find out about the earthquake and they look at it and they go, Crenshaw's probably not near that at all, so he's probably fine. So that's the system that we use.
Well, there you go. Well, that's the goat report from Maui.
All right, we love you, Crenshaw. That's the goat report from Maui. This could be like a regular segment, and don't give up on giving that other goat marijuana right away because you just never know. All right, brother, take care.
Make sure you tell Richter thanks for the aloha on the chat sideboard, and don't forget, Richter, come on, man, let me see those dollars. Come on. Let me see some Amish love.
I love it, man. All right, buddy. Take care of yourself and them goats. We'll see about getting that cat a second eye.
Love you guys.
Love you too, man.
Mrs. Comic. Love you guys.
All righty. Bye-bye, honey.
Bye.
All right, there you have it. The goat report from Maui. Crenshaw is really amazing. I don't know how you get a goat sitting gig. I actually wouldn't want that. It seems like it'd be a lot of trouble. Because let's shift gears a teeny tiny little bit here because I can't even believe I got this stuff ready. There's Richter. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Here I gotta do this. I can see that. I'm going to do this. It's so unprofessional, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of that, and I'm going to send this right to Hawaii. Where are you going to get live entertainment like this where somebody is heckled into donating money and I take a screenshot and I send it off to Hawaii? There it goes. Richter, you rock. That's amazing. Crenshaw is going to get a big kick out of this. So our crazy cat Caesar it's kind of amazing to have anything ready because here's what he does. We talk to Caesar all the time, our rescue cat, and I think he understands some kind of words that we say because, like, I've complained that he wasn't sitting with me as much as he had been, and then all of a sudden he started sitting with me. So this little fucker did this, and he decided to just curl into me right there like that during the time when I should be getting ready for this live stream. So Caesar was tormenting me, and I was talking to Caesar and saying, like, you, Caesar, and Mary, Sexy Pants, cat, we miss her all the time, what a sweetheart, never really took to live streaming like our adorable Sparky, but Caesar got a little pissed off at me and said a thing and then ran off. So I don't think he likes being told that the cats didn't take to live streaming as well as the bird did. So he's going nuts. And while I'm on the Caesar subject here, Oh, Crenshaw got the Richter report here. Let's see what he got to say about that. Crenshaw says, "Love it, love you, and that's amazing. And that's how I make a living, right there. I sit here and I wait for my friend who's watching goats in Hawaii to phone into a show so he can heckle my fans into giving us money. So that's kind of a career turn that I wasn't really expecting. Now let's go back to Caesar here. Where the hell is he? Um, okay, so what you peckerheads are, I mean that in a nice way. What you don't realize is that Caesar's a big cat, and this clip here, I would like to point out. I want you to look at him and watch how he comes at me. You see how he comes at me like that? What's important about this clip? Look at it. That's his fucking big cat, and his claws have not been clipped at all yet. I am not holding a toy. That's what's fun about that. He is coming at me like that. I'm the toy. So yeah, he believes I'm a squirrel or I don't know what. So we're still having a ball with him. Now we're going back to see where the hell we were. Let's see here. Be right back. There's that. All right. So now we're back to live, and I think that's my whole show now. I only took 21 minutes. I don't even know what the hell I was going to talk about anymore. Um, but that's how I get off the railroad tracks here. It actually happens quite a lot because I'll have an idea. I'm going to go looking for something. I was looking for all these abandoned uh, resorts in the Poconos, and they're kind of really creepy. And then there was a teeny little bit of a mystery about why all those things turned to shit. And I have my own theories about that. You see, the main attraction of the Poconos has always been, I mean, for us, it's trees. We go up there, you run around the woods, and you hop in the creek, or the crick, as some Pennsylvania Dutchies say, and that's the fun. But the selling point for the Poconos has always been the heart shaped tub, and that you can go and have sex in the Poconos. And I think people eventually figured out you don't actually have to drive to the Poconos and spend $300 a night to have sex in a heart shaped tub. And then I think they also started to get creeped out thinking that other people have had sex in this heart shaped tub. And so maybe we don't really need to drive to the Poconos and stay in a $300 a night place to have sex in a heart shaped tub where other people have had sex and we don't really know how well they scrub shit out. So I can tell you that's why. Why they just fucking abandoned them is probably because it costs money to knock shit down. I don't really know, but that's how we got off the railroad tracks. And again, I'm trying to organize a Amish comic night at the drive-in movie. Um, it's just such a wonderful time up there. Um, I don't know. Father's Day is creeping up. That's where I went. I think that's where I went last year for Father's Day. Wahoo! Driving up there. That's just such a wonderful thing here. Let me get my notes back. Um, it is. It's older movies. It's 30. Is it 35 millimeter? Uh, they're classics, and they really look fucking good. They have great prints going on. They have a Patreon also. I'm plugging them, and if you join the Mahoning Drive-In, the link for them is in the description of the show. They have special events, uh, weird movies and shit just for the Patreons. I don't think they just sit in their living room and wait until Crenshaw calls them with a goat report. I think you get more stuff from their Patreon. So I have to try to up my game a teeny tiny little bit here. Uh, so I'm babbling away here as is my way. Um, uh, there was some ghost stuff on that we were watching, and I noticed something that the anything that's haunted, right, or they say it's haunted, it's a thing they use to sell the place if it's a hotel, if it's a museum, if it's a theater, and whoever famous there dropped dead. That ghost is still there. There's a prison in Philly that's abandoned, but Al Capone was there, and they say Al Capone's ghost is there. I'm here to tell you, if you were a ghost and you were Al Capone, you probably try to figure out a way to fucking get out of prison. Finally, I would have to think that death might be an escape from prison, unless you're kind of just fucking stuck in there. But what I realize is that things could be haunted, that they don't brag about them being haunted, would be anything transportation related. Like, you'd never really hear about the haunted Boeing 747 or whatever, or a haunted cruise ship, because that's fucking bad for business. Um, so there's that. Oh, the sleep police story. I gotta tell you this too. I'll give you more information. I sleep good, but I have trouble. This is my spot here, and I have trouble. It's kind of a half to love seat couch. I don't really fit on this to lay down, and I can't fall asleep down here. But I'm nocturnal, so it's absolutely fine. So I wind up being the sleep police. Mrs. Comic sleeps like a cat. She can go a couple hours on, a couple hours off, and then ultimately, when I call the night, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm the sleep police. I round us all up. Mrs. Comic, I tell her we're going up. Caesar's cat, we're going up. And last night, for shits and giggles, I was trying a new relaxing crunk. It was Astro Pop and Watermelon, and it leaned on some more relaxing side. And I made a joke to Mrs. Comic around midnight. What would happen if I fell asleep down here? I think we would probably never ever go up. There'd be no sleep police. And Mrs. Comic said, "Well, I eventually I would have to pee, and that's when I would go up." So now, stay with me. I was watching Twin Peaks season 3, because Mrs. Comic saw a reference in another show we were watching, and she knew if she said that I'd have to watch it. So I'm watching Twin Peaks season 3. I really loved Twin Peaks season 3. It came out on my birthday, 2017, the new season. So I'm all in on this thing, and I like to watch things to see shit that I maybe missed before or connect some dots. So uh, I started to go. I started to zone. I think I made it to about 1:30, and then I was out. Mrs. Comic will wake up and fall asleep, and wake up and fall asleep, depending on what she's hearing. And there's some real serious shit going on in Twin Peaks, and she was more concerned that I was sleeping through this than whatever weird shit that was happening on there. And so 2:30 in the morning, I'm knocked out. Twin Peaks season 3 is all intense. Mrs. Comic is standing over me now, and she's so beautiful, but she would never do this. So I went to sleep in a Twin Peaks uh, dreamscape coma, and she seemed like the giant from the original Twin Peaks, coming into Cooper's dreams and saying, "We're here to help you." It scared the fuck out of me in a fun way. So there was my Twin Peaks. I finally got to fall asleep downstairs. Mrs. Comic took over sleep police for one night story. Um, I thought, I would say you had to be here, but if you fuckers were all here when it was 2:30 in the morning and I was sleeping on the couch, that would be really fucking weird. So that is definitely not a you had to be here scenario. Again, I'm all over the place. We're watching Ted Lasso obsessively. It's really tightly written comedy, and they have uh, set in London, and the sports over there is way different than over here. Uh, so for reasons I couldn't tell you, the Mets baseball team and the Phillies baseball team played in London this past weekend. And so, because of the culture difference, this you would never have that in this country. They had merchandise, they had baseball shirts that they were selling that had the Phillies and the Mets logo on it. That's the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard in my life. You don't buy a sports team jersey with your team on it and the fucking enemy, but somehow across the pond, that shit sells. So if you ever go there, uh, make a note that if you buy any sports merchandise of USA teams playing over there, and they're deadly rivals. You can buy a souvenir shirt with your favorite team and the enemy on them. I don't get any royalties for that either. Let's see here. Oh, little show business trivia. More about what poor Mrs. Comic has to put up with. When people book me for a show and it's a fundraiser, I do it. Basically, it's a $20 ticket. I do a split with them, and I haven't booked this show yet. But there's things in my contract for them to not think shit up. And again, today they didn't book the show, but they have this obsession with adding a buffet onto a stand-up comedy show. The $20 ticket is plenty to go see me at Fire Hall or wherever you're going to see me. Uh, Adding a buffet, even though it's $15, that puts the ticket up to $35. That's a date at $70 plus alcohol, plus babysitting, plus gas. We are now talking about spending over $100 for date night at the fucking Fire Hall, and you're starting to think about maybe for that kind of money, maybe you would want to get a heart-shaped hot tub in the Poconos and have sex for fucking $100 a night. So plus also, um, we're vegetarians now, and so if you're doing a buffet, you're kind of eliminating people who actually really like food. Uh, they try to sell a buffet, and they don't really tell you what's on that. And fucking tell a pizza buffet or fucking steak buffet or whatever the fuck is. You can't just say buffet because who wants to pick supper? Who out there when you're trying to figure what do you want to have to eat tonight? We'll just have buffet, and then you don't add the name of the fucking store. You don't say Shady Maple or Pizza Buffet. You just say well, have buffet. Well, what the fuck is that? That's maybe people eat like that, but I would not go to a non-specific buffet. So again, I gotta babysit these fucking shows. Um, oh, I'm gonna do another plug here. Uh, it's kind of weird too because we like to go to farm stands. Mrs. Comic likes to get some plants, and we get some strawberries and fun stuff. And there's an amazing farm stand around here, Crooked Row. Liz the farmer, except she's around the Shankweilers driving on 309. It's a fantastic place. It's really good stuff. Great food. Uh, the strawberries just come right out of the field, and they have plant sales, and they have all this kind of shit. And that's a place you can actually go and say Amish Comic sent you. So check out the farm stand up there. I used to take Cutie Pie pictures of me and Mrs. Comic, look, date night at the farm stand, and then everybody fucking rail on me. Well, that's a great date. The Amish guy taking his wife to a farm stand. Boy, you're a lot of fun. So I don't even post shit like that anymore because I'm trying to get my bourbon balls bust. How about that? Let's see here. More. Uh, I didn't realize this till Mrs. Comic said it's the Father's Day edition of my show. So happy Father's Day to me and all the fathers out there. And also happy Father's Day to all the mothers who married assholes and they had to be the role of the mother and the father. Salute to all them. And let's see here. And the fathers in spirit, that's right. The fathers in spirit who I do believe watch over us. And I also think sometimes they help make the pets do things to torment me in a fun way. Send Caesar up the window there. So there's that. Bobbity boo. You got your drive-ins here. Oh, I don't think I put. Let me see if I put this picture in. I don't know if I did. I was completely all over the place. I was going to do. No, I didn't. I wound up having too much stuff about the drive-in movies. Um, I was going to do some. I have some old pictures of Dorney Park. I was going to talk about all the fun stuff of the area that's not here anymore. We had penny candy stores, Dorney Park in its heyday. You could just walk into it. You could actually walk into it. You could walk into the park by going under the wooden roller coaster. There was a road you could actually drive through Dorney Park. There was a sky ride that some people smoked marijuana on, I've heard. uh, so I was going to cover some of that stuff, but I just got so obsessed with these drive-in movies that that became seemed like something more fun, and that's why we've only just discovered the Mahoning Drive-In recently, in recent years, because it's around Penn's Peak. It's a short drive, 30-40 minutes to get up there, but in this neighborhood in the Lehigh Valley, there was like 6, 7, 8 drive-ins, and they used to do all nighters. There would be Jimi Hendrix night and Pink Floyd night and all these rock concert nights, and the hippie bands would go in there to be in there all fucking night long. Super Skyway, that was one. Um, Becky's had naughty movies. That's right, Becky's, and they were hidden in the woods. So you won't see that on the history of Becky's when you go up there now. Shimerville had to drive in, and Super Skyway was right over there, 10 miles away. Quakertown, there was one Mrs. Comic pointed out, but again, that was like, we had so many here. There was one over Union Boulevard, by where the Iron Pig Stadium is. I think that screen is still up there if you look through there. So, I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. Um, and I'm telling you, you'll have fun. And again, Mahoning Drive-In, they have some overnight things where you have to bring a tent, but it's really not that far of a drive. And there's actually hotels around there too if you want to make it, if you have to come from really far away. In fact, I'm going to be checking on all of these to make sure that you've gone there. The other fun thing is, from this area that we missed that's gone, is in Emmaus, there were at least 2 public ice rinks, and one was at Fire Company number 1 that I did shows up there. The other one was down by the library, Kiwanis Field. It's a basketball court now. What was incredible about these was and it was 10th Street that used to freeze, but it was really deep and a little scary. And they had one of them little tractors that was terrorizing us today, sitting on it, and the ice was cracking. And I phoned in to the police to report, and they kind of thought I was drunk. And the next day, the tractor was in the ice, so I fucking warned them. Um, but the most cool thing about these ice rinks were the 2 in Emmaus here was they had lights on fucking telephone poles, and there was a switch, so you could go there, and if you were nuts and it was really fucking cold and nobody was there, you could flick the lights on yourself. They trusted us to flick the lights on a public ice rink, and we weren't assholes. And when we left, we just fucking shut them off. Mrs. Comic remembered also they had the burn barrels, and so uh, there would often be, if there were a lot of people there, a little, you could stay warm over by the burn barrel. We were trusted with unsupervised with turning the lights on an ice rink and burning shit in a barrel. And I don't remember anybody burning or leaving the lights on and making all kinds of trouble. So we were trusted with fun shit. I missed those. Uh, and back before the days of all these cars around here too, uh, I've been around this area for a while. The used to freeze. We get a couple of winters where it used to freeze and they didn't know how to salt the roads. Or I don't know. You could actually skate around town a couple times. I remember doing this, and I'm sure it happened because other people remember it too. And sometimes I remember shit that didn't happen. But if I remember shit that other people remember, then I'm pretty sure that it happened. So, so we had all this fun stuff, but there's still fun stuff now. And hit the drive-in, and also for shits and giggles, go on YouTube and put in drive-in theaters and watch the people complain who own them. I laughed so hard. The guys, they almost seemed like it was miserable to own them. Yeah, but the ones we love are the fun ones, and then just don't get sucked down into the muck and mire here.
They even have like movie-related snacks and like vegetarian food.
Oh yeah, they do. Mahoning, Mrs. Comic, thank you. Mahoning has they have themes of their snacks sometimes that match up to the film, And also, this goes back to my disdain for trying to tack a buffet onto my comedy show. Uh, the snack bar is incredible, and it's like bar food. You would get French fries, burgers, and all, but they have vegetarian slash vegan meatballs and burgers. That's fucking badass for a drive-in movie to have a vegan vegetarian burger in this day and age, which is perfect uh, for us. And there were a lot of years when I ate meat, and our daughter and Mrs. Comic did it, so it would be perfect for me to get regular meat, and they would get vegetarian. I actually can't believe now that I'm happy that I go to a drive-in movie that has a vegetarian burger. So there's that. Uh, it's just the most wonderful experience. I'm just telling you. Let's see here. I'm flicking through, trying to see if I'm missing shit, which I always do. Boo. Fire barrels, boom, roasted. People pissing and moaning about only driving in movie theaters. Let's see, bring the naughty kids. That's all my excitement. I always think my show is going to be funner and more interesting than it is, and I believe it's going to be way too long than I thought. Well, Crenshaw's phoning in with the goat report tonight, so that's always wonderful. But also, it's going to uh, I won't have time for all this other stuff, which it seems like I would now because it seems like I don't have nearly as much planned as I thought I had planned. So there's that. I'm flicking through my notes here. See that we got our ghost stuff here. All right. Centralia, with Centralia, we talked about that. That's still, that's one of those places. It's in Pennsylvania that you probably shouldn't go to because I think it's still burning. The coal is still burning. It's there. Just know that it's there. There was more in Pennsylvania that I forgot to find. There's a I'll have to do research. There's ringing stones somewhere, and there's also somewhere there's a hill that you can roll things up it. Like you can drop a ball and it rolls up a hill. I definitely want to make sure I have the right strain of medical marijuana when I go. Watch balls roll up the hill, not bourbon balls, but regular rolling balls. So there's gonna be more fun stuff to talk about. Uh, maybe it'll be like maybe I'll do like a thing where uh, places to go in Pennsylvania, places to go and places to not go. How about that? Uh, which also, what I was hemming and hawing about some of this shit too. I mean, there's a Lackawanna coal mine tour that if you grew up in this area and you went on a school field trip, they took you on this coal mine tour, and it's really fucking scary. I chaperoned one of these trips when our daughter was in school, and it was really fucking scary. It's you're on like a train car, but there's these metal rails, and you actually fucking just burrowing down into the ground. And Peckerhead, who's driving the thing, he's got a helmet, but no, we didn't get fucking helmets. So he's got a crash helmet on. We don't have crash helmets, and the whole tour is basically them telling you how many people died at different parts in this coal mine. It fucking scares the fuck out of you. Um, and so the one guy told a story on this thing, on this tour, that they used to take little birds down into the mines with them, and since their lungs were little, and they could, if the bird would drop dead, they'd know there was air problems down there, and that's how if the birds dropped dead, that's how they knew it was time to get out of the mine. And I told the guy, well, I know when it's time to get out of the mine is when that kid just shit in his pants and that kid's crying because of you just told the bird story. So we don't have to know how many people died at this part of the fucking coal mine tour. And they also have a gift shop, Lackawanna Coal Mine gift shop. I don't know, you get a fucking black lung keychain up there. It's a weird fucking thing. And up there also they have I don't know the guy's name. There's a pothole state forest. Mostly states are not proud of their potholes, but Pennsylvania, there's a pothole and it's a person's name, and it's a thing that people pay, or you can see it free. I don't know, But it's a pothole state forest. Again, they were trying to fill in potholes all over fucking this town here today. Uh, but another idea would be not to fill in the pothole, but just make it like an attraction. So that might fall into the category of places in Pennsylvania that are kind of neat and weird, but also perhaps you shouldn't go. So I think that's gonna wrap up this episode here tonight because
Stephen Mazeppa says hello.
oh, Stephen Mazeppa says hello. Now Stephen Mazeppa, he's from far away, man, right?
Washington, Olympia, Washington.
Well, that's badass, man. So the Mazeppa, I call your brother Mazeppa, and I have to call you Mazeppa too because I don't really see you that often. So Washington, he's out there in Washington. I don't know what time it is, but I'm really fucked up here because Crenshaw called from Hawaii, and we had to figure out what time it was there for him to call here. Uh, Thank you, Stephen Mazeppa, for figuring out fucking time and not messaging me, asking me what time I'll be on based on where you are. But Washington is it's one of those places I would love to go to, but haven't been able to go there yet. And people that I know that have been there just can't wait to get back there. We have friends that live there, and we have family that goes there on a regular basis. And I'm actually probably just like one awesome Washington story being told to me where I'm going to start to be fucking mad. Because it's going to be like bragging. It's going to be like me talking about going to Ireland. Which brings me to something else that I forgot about. Fun adventure. I'm plugging anything I plug. I do it because I love it. There's no promotion going on here. Uh, Record stores are still awesome. There's a fabulous one in Kutztown. Shout out to Young Ones. They have a phenomenal selection. And I know a teeny little bit about the business. Records are kind of sort of expensive for the people who sell them. They're reasonably priced. They don't make a lot of money on their records. And I got a Tossers album, and I put it on late at night, and it was warped, and it fucked up the playing. If it was warped and it was fine, that would be fine. So I almost didn't want to complain to them because like $17 record, and I really didn't want to eat the $17 either. But I figured they're gonna eat it because records anymore are from the people who sell them. They're basically as is. It's that they can't take a record back and get credit for it. So when I messaged them on Facebook about this thing, I thought he was fucking with me because that's the kind of friends I have that say, I'm babysitting goats and I got to take care of a one-eyed cat. And I always think people are fucking with me. The guy out at Young Ones said that I should bring it back, that he was this close to buying a record flattener, which I had no idea existed. The $200-300, I don't know. He's been on the fence about it. I think they're actually Young Ones is now going to invest in a record flattener. I saw a picture of it and I was asking a guy about before I saw the picture, is that how did they flatten them? Is it like an old thing from like the Salem witch trials where they put the thing in the witch pit and they just put like 10 tons of stones on it to flatten the thing out? He showed me a thing. It's almost like a pizza delivery pouch, and it goes in there and it's pressurized, and they set it for whatever temperature to warm it up, and that thing fucking flattens it. So the album that I took back, it's Tosser's album. It's out of print. I paid $17 for it. They don't have another one. They can't fucking order it because I'm a dumbass. I said, well, you can use this record and flatten it and then sell it back to me for more than I paid for it because it's it's going to be fucking rare and you can't get it. So check out Young Ones in Kutztown. They rock. You can also tell them Amish Comic sent you. In any place I send you where I tell you to say Amish Comic sent you, will do you no fucking good at all. There's no discounts. There's no, oh, that's time for me. That's how I know it's time to take a shot. Bourbon balls there. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Beaming out to Washington. We had someone beam in from Ireland. I guess they had enough, or they haven't been able to figure out the space-time continuum. But we love doing this. I love doing this. It's great to see everybody in there. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, I made your Tuesday suck a little bit less. And if everything goes according to schedule, I will try to make your Tuesday suck less next Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you get to the drive-in and check those links out right there. Make sure you get on that Spotify list too, because it has all the jingles. Let's go to the lobby and all the hits are there. Mahoning Drive-In is fabulous. And you did miss Eraserhead Night. And I think that is a wrap for this week's show. We love you, and we are signing off with a traditional, where is it? Stream ending. That's the dumbest thing. I don't know why I would even put that up. Stream is ending when I say it's ending. It's ending right now, so I'm going right here, click on this, and stream. Bye bye.